All right, everybody, welcome back into another episode of Tavern Takes. As we were live about an hour ago, or a little less than. We have some of the same cast of characters that were here before. Kurt, say hi. Hello. Josh is still here, and now reoccurring guest Jake Miller is here as well. Reoccurring after the live. Although he was kind of hidden on the live stream, so. There ain't
show some comfort. Show my face finally.
Yeah, show face. Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the Thursday games that Josh and I did not recap last night. And then we will talk about the games that have finished up so far and kind of what's going on right now. We'll start off with Thursday. We'll start off with Arkansas, Kansas, because I know Josh and I were going to try and stay live for the finish of that game, but we try and stay on the pod to finish that game, but kind of wrapped it up beforehand. And, well, Kansas did their best choke job. Hunter Dickinson ends his college career by throwing one of the worst passes I've ever seen.
That was god awful. It was almost intentional.
Hunter Dickinson just made a formative decision that he was not wanting to play college basketball anymore.
What do you think his next job is? Is it in the United States?
Account manager somewhere?
Yeah.
He's not an NBA player. I don't think he's a G League player. He could probably play overseas because he's enough of a name, I guess.
I don't know. I saw Drew Timmy in Oshkosh.
I can see him
good old Drew Timmy.
I can see him as a real estate agent. I think he'd be.
I'm not buying a house from that guy.
Stay in Kansas.
I'm not sad to see it. I'm not sad to see any Badger. Let this be done.
That team was so disappointing this year. I believe it's back-to-back years where they were preseason number one and have just completely underwhelmed. The question was posed. I don't know if this is before the live stream started or after, but if Bill Self is on the hot seat, and I don't think he is. I think he's too good of a coach. Tends to win a title about once every 10 years. And that's apparently enough to keep him around. So I don't think Bill Self's going anywhere. But I do think this next year he's got to put a roster together, especially with the NIL resources he has, or he could start feeling some pressure.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
One of the other games on Thursday night we didn't talk about, Drake and Missouri. I believe that game was going on.
Texas A&M Yale actually ended first, and
did we?
I just want to touch on it. I know. I think you had the Yale cover at 7.5, right?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. I bought 2 points, and I bought them at 9.5. And boy, what did I sweat that out! But it did cover.
Yeah, was it? It was one of their walk-ons.
It was like a last-second bullshit fucking cover. But I freaked out to go up like $7 because I was down a little bit, and Abby's just looking at me like, "Why are you going nuts?" And I'm like, "Abby, you have no idea I was sweating this whole time."
I was watching Dave Portnoy freak out too on the Barstool stream because I believe he had something similar, and A&M was going in for a layup from a walk-on with
I do believe
30 seconds left or something like that. He fumbled it out of bounds. So that's living and dying by that. That Yale Texas A&M game. I think everyone in our bracket pool had Yale. Jake, I don't know if you took it. I know you're not in our pool, but your bracket you filled out.
I had Yale.
Yeah, I think Yale was one of those. It was ironic that UC San Diego, Michigan, and Yale, Texas A&M were in the same region because those were two of the kind of sexy upset picks. And per usual, it doesn't happen.
I think a lot of people saw that matchup and they're like, Yale is because of what they did last year. But last year, people forget that they had Daniel Wolf. And this year, they returned a lot of their starters. Yeah. But that Emba point guard had 2 points, and he was just absolutely abysmal on offense. He did finish with 9 assists, but like there were so many times where he missed layups or missed shots where it's like there's no way. But yeah, no, that ended up being a pretty ugly finish.
They weren't playing against Chaz Baker Mazzara to assault a guy this year, so kind of helps.
Yeah.
True.
When Auburn had one of their best players get kicked out of that game last year. What's the next game in Notre
Drake,
Dame?
Missouri.
Oh yeah, we were gonna start on Drake, Missouri. Yeah.
Drake finally caught a W.
Yep. Hey, big fan of the Missouri Valley Conference, just because of
Marcus
the Mask, former SIU player. I've been repping the MVC for the last few years now, and Drake finally pulled over and got the upset. Last year they had Miami on the absolute ropes and choked it away in the final seconds. Shout out Tucker DeVries. But
now Indiana. Indiana, West Virginia legend Tucker DeVries.
Yep.
Let me just throw this out here.
Very hurt this
Let
year.
me just throw this out here to Kurt real quick.
Yeah.
We trying to get the mask on the pod or what?
We could
That'd be
potentially work
cool.
something. We could potentially work something out.
We got
there.
ties to Marcus Damask here.
Yeah, I'll try to work my magic.
Work a little Marcus Damask magic. That'd be cool.
It's also a year ago today that he had a triple double in the first round of the
That's
NCAA
right.
tournament. So shout out one more time, Marcus Damask.
But yeah, Drake finally caught a W. Sadly. R.I.P. Kendrick.
R.I.P. Kendrick. That
You got the two Ken. You got one Drake guy, one Ken. You guys want to beef real quick?
I want to beef it out real quick.
Fuck Drake. Anyway.
No, so Missouri was a team all year that was real Jekyll and Hyde in the SEC, and they had enough. Like walking into Florida and winning is arguably, you could argue that might have been the best SEC win of the year. If Missouri walked into Florida, I believe it was early January, and they were up like 20. I mean, Florida kind of came back and made it close, but Missouri just.
I was just disappointed. I thought they were so skilled and they just weren't good.
The SEC as a whole right now.
Yeah, I've said that from the start. Well, I think that there's no way you have 14 good teams. I think Florida and Auburn are good, and the rest of
Tennessee's good.
Tennessee's good too.
Yeah, I do have Tennessee in my Final Four.
Tennessee's good. Kentucky's solid. You know,
If they were healthy.
They were
Kentucky
healthy.
played well today.
Yeah, if they were fully healthy, they would be an absolute wagon.
Yeah, they had Kurt Kriisa
but-
and Jackson and Robinson. They'd be.
Yes. So, like, I don't know. Looking at Missouri, you know, some of the players, like, I mean, they hit the portal hard. They got Mark Mitchell from Duke. He had a bad game last night. Tony Perkins from Iowa. I mean, he wasn't really much at Iowa, but he was still their point guard for one of their guards for a couple of years. Defensive three, kind of very good 3-and-D, but I don't know, just kind of tough. They did not shoot the ball well last night.
They did not shoot.
Looking at it right now, they were 4 of 18 from 3 and 15 of 44 or 15 of 45 from the field. That is a 1/3 percentage and 25% from 3. So that will do it. And Drake is kind of a team that hangs their hat on defense and hits the 3 ball. So
Hey, but shout out Missouri for letting John Tonje walk. 'Cause
Facts.
for those of you who don't know, John Tonje played 8 games for Missouri last year, averaged 2 points, and got hurt. And they wanted nothing to do with him.
Now he's an
So-
All-American.
Some would
Now
say
he's
he's
an
a
All-American.
better All-American than the certain other second-team All-American. But
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That's coming.
what do you think? You think Jonte Porter was betting on this game at all?
oh jeez. So I guess the next game of the evening would have been the UCLA Bruins taking on the Utah State Aggies. And honestly, a lot of people thought the game was going to be a lot closer, but UCLA just killed.
I was gonna say I didn't watch a single second of that game
Um,
because UCLA dominated that.
I watched early, and then big number 15,
Mara.
just killed Utah State, especially coming off the bench. He played 20 minutes and had 10 points and six rebounds, and I thought it felt like more. because he was just a problem. Like, they had no one to guard him. But it was blowout. UCLA ran away with that one early.
Utah State still has not won a tournament game.
Yeah, and UCLA keeps the Big Ten's undefeated streak alive as well. So
Shout out Big
They're-
Ten.
shout out the Big Ten right now, looking very good.
Oregon's up 18.
Yeah, as we're
Although we're not going to say anything about Michigan State currently.
Yeah, as we're talking right now, Oregon's up 18-4 on Liberty. Illinois is up 37-33 on Xavier. Is Michigan State down?
Yeah.
Bryant is up
19-17 at the under 8. And then you got something?
No, I just was just trying to figure out what the
So the second to last game of the night.
St. John's, Omaha.
Third last because we still got
Yeah,
UC
there you
San
go.
Diego.
Yeah.
Omaha looked good to start for about 10 minutes. Then St. John's was like, oh shit.
They did that in their tournament, though.
St.
They
John's
just
is-
go down and then
They go down and then they're like, oh, we got to get together.
And then they realized they could physically impose their will on
Yeah.
just about
Yeah,
any team. in the
That is
country.
exactly what happened. Is they kind of grinded it out in the first half, and they ended up being up like, I don't know, kind of ended up
Special.
they
Special appearance king.
Yeah, gang.
they kind of they dominated the like you said, physically imposed themselves in the second half, and they ended up rolling by 30 after only being up like 5.5.
Yeah.
So
These
Go ahead.
next two games, I did not watch a single bit of it. I went to bed.
I watched most of the Michigan game, and Michigan was rolling. Like, they were up 20 at one point, and then the same thing that they were talking about all week with UC San Diego being able to shoot the ball, they started shooting lights out. It got to a point where they actually took the lead with a minute left to go, and then Trey Donaldson hit a 3-ball to put them back up 1, and then that was
That was
kind
it.
of kumbaya.
As much as Michigan allowed UC San Diego to get back in the second half of that game, the one thing they did really well is not turn the ball over in the second half, and they turned it over a crap ton in the first half. So the irony there is that they turned it over, but we're still up, I believe it was 11 at half. And then in the second half, they decided not to turn the ball over as much, but then UC San Diego got hot. Also, shout out the Tritons, their first year eligible to make the tournament. Gave a Power 5 team all they could handle.
They were D2 last year.
They were
They were D1 last year, but
Oh,
I don't think they were eligible.
you get you have 3.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
few
wait,
3 years.
Who was it? Who was that team that got
I
sued?
remember
this
what you're
year,
talking about.
St. Thomas got because they're
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago. It wasn't this year.
but St. Thomas was one that actually won their conference.
Yeah, and then
they
did not
it
get to
this
go.
year. Because Omaha was the team that got to go. So last game the night was Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington, and from early on, I think UNC Wilmington was actually up at the half or almost winning.
No, so the way that game went was Texas Tech kind of got out early, and they were up. I ended up watching most of
Did you
it.
watch it?
Yeah, Texas Tech got up early, and then
That was bad.
UNC Wilmington made a late run to get it within 4 at half, and then at one point in the second half, UNC Wilmington had the lead, but they just didn't have the. If you're going to be a 14 seed and beat a 3, you need shooting, and they just did not have the shooting in the second half to pull off that upset. They did a very good job of making JT Toppin look pedestrian, and JT Toppin is the Big 12 Player of the Year. So, again, a spirited effort from UNC Wilmington because also they were their 3 seed, I believe, in their own conference tournament because that was the Delaware UNC Wilmington game. Delaware was 12 seed that made it to the conference championship. But that'll about wrap up Thursday. So we'll get
stopping JT Toppin.
ain't no stopping and JT Toppin.
Okay.
Shout out that came from when Obi was at Dayton. That team never got to play. A tournament game because of COVID.
Wisconsin won the national championship.
Yep.
that year.
Wisconsin.
The COVID National Championship.
And ironically, you know who Wisconsin played in that COVID national
I
championship?
don't. I just remember us winning.
Is BYU.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So that's who we play. So
That's who we
Wisconsin
play
plays tomorrow.
Sweet.
We'll move on to Friday here. Unfortunately, not a lot of great games today. You guys got your phones up.
Yeah, honestly, everybody who basically should have won. Colorado State being a 12.
Colorado.
Tyrese
Yeah.
being hurt
Yeah.
really kind of hurt Memphis.
I mean, they were winning at half.
They were winning at half. And then Colorado State just took over.
The Baylor Mississippi State game was entertaining. Shout out VJ Edgecombe.
I was working.
Lottery
So I didn't
pick.
see it.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
played well.
yeah, that game should have. I was really hoping they'd hit that 3 at the end.
Robert Morris gave Alabama a little more than they wanted. Actually forced Nate Oates to play Grant Nelson in the second half. Grant Nelson hurt his knee, saw a specialist on Monday, and basically they cleared him, but they weren't going to play him unless they had to. And Robert Morris gave Alabama enough that they had to bring Grant Nelson in, which ultimately swung that game. Anything else early? Well, before we get
I
into
would say
the
Lipscomb. It wasn't really a game.
no,
We don't really
that was a butt kicking.
Other than, I
Duke-
still hate them for taking a Milwaukee spot. But
Yeah, Duke,
Yeah.
Duke did Duke things.
Duke did Duke things.
St. Mary's
St.
Vandy
Mary's
was a good
Vandy, I
game.
remember.
St. Mary's Vandy was back and forth for a while there, and St. Mary's ended up pulling away.
You know what sucks?
Fundamentally.
What's up?
I did not even know St. Mary's.
yeah,
I had Vandy and I was
Vandy
like,
was winning the whole.
I
counted that as lost my breath.
when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, go Vandy!" And that I just learned today, right now, that St. Mary's won that game. So that's tough for me.
St. Mary's.
That's a surprise for me because I did pick Vandy and I didn't even know that Vandy lost.
St. Mary's will give Alabama a better game for the sole fact of St. Mary's plays the style of basketball that St. Mary's wants to play, and that is slow it down and make Alabama play in the half court. So that'll be an interesting game on Sunday.
What do you think that over-under is going to be? I mean, Alabama's
You got one team that
100.
scores like 90 and another that wants to play it at 50.
Yeah.
So
Guess the line.
Right.
140, 150.
145, yeah.
Yeah, 145 probably.
Ole Miss, North Carolina.
That ended up being a
That would be
game
good.
at the end.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
Ole Miss
was.
tried to piss that away.
UNC got it to 2, and then just couldn't get it past that.
RJ Davis finally
Yeah,
all
done.
gone.
Finally,
Yeah,
the
that is
10-year senior is finally gone.
I'm so glad this COVID year's finally done.
Yeah.
Shout out to us.
Maryland Grand Canyon wasn't a-
destroyed Grand
Maryland
Canyon.
Grand Canyon wasn't a game. Florida Norfolk State wasn't a game.
Didn't cover those bumps.
Yeah.
Didn't cover. Kentucky Troy.
Kentucky destroyed them. Not much to say
The
there.
over was quite likely dead after the first 5 minutes of the game. So
And then we move to the game
That we did live.
of the night.
I would say it's probably the game of the night so far. It's been the best game.
It's honestly been the best game of the tournament.
Outside of if this Michigan State
I don't know,
Bryant
Baylor,
game stays
the first
interesting.
game today was
Yeah, Baylor
they
Mississippi
shot a
State
3
was
with
good.
2
Okay.
seconds left. And
See, I was working.
And St. Mary's Vandy also ended on Vandy had a chance to tie it.
Okay.
But
Damn it, Vandy.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Find out this late that
I just found out.
brutal day.
So we went live for the Marquette game. Go check that out if you want to see our live reactions on it.
Yeah, all the content is pretty much in that video.
But David Joplin is the only reason Marquette had a sole prayer in that game. Miller, this would be a good time to talk about your John Tanji, Cam Jones little comment you just made.
I mean, I was told all year that the assist to turnover ratio was everything, more than scoring points, more than free throw percentage. And I watched Cam Jones just
Cam Jones, for
not
lack of,
do anything.
yeah, for lack of a better word, shit the bed tonight. So, poor Sawyer. Sawyer's not with us right now. He's not dead or anything. I guess I worded that pretty horribly, but for all intents and purposes, his soul is dead. He will be with us tomorrow for sure, but
I'm sure the same heckling is coming.
if
If
he is
Wisconsin-
here for the live stream, I'm not sure he's going to be here
Yeah.
for the live stream or not. But Just Marquette all year. After I believe it was after they started the conference year 5-0, they did not beat a tournament team. Well, I guess they beat Xavier once. Took them 2 months to beat a tournament team after starting the conference 5-0.
And Ben Gold had his best game since they played us.
Yes,
And
he
still
did.
Couldn't do anything.
And it just they really screwed the pooch by not going in the portal. And Ben Gold could be a very above average stretch forward, but they are asking him to rim protect and play the 5, and that it just killed them. Like New Mexico was getting offensive rebounds and
Plenty of slips.
Went in the-
Plenty of slips on that late ball screen.
yeah, Marquette just. And the other thing I actually looked at, I saw it after the game. Stevie Mitchell in March has been absolutely atrocious every time they play a tournament game.
Call him Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, he's good defensively, but his offense lacks. And I mean, we got to shout out New Mexico too. Donovan Dent had 8 turnovers, but still,
I just want to know why they thought it was a good draw. I mean, Marquette sucked.
there was a lot of Marquette fans that thought that was a good draw. And the irony of that whole situation too was, did they not think that Rick was going to give Richard some pointers? I mean, Richard beat Marquette 3 times this year at St. John's.
That's another win for the Big Ten.
Also, if any of you Tavern Tanks listeners have been paying attention, a wager was won tonight
Oh, that's right. Good thing I almost forgot about that.
for the good old Wisconsin fans tonight.
Yeah, Josh and I get $25 from Sawyer. Unfortunately, I was stupid enough to make a bet that Wisconsin would go further than Florida in the same podcast. So I'm probably just going to have Sawyer Venmo Will.
I don't know. We covered Florida, didn't it?
Florida did not cover.
I did not take that bet.
Teams win, great teams cover. So
That's what I was saying yesterday when Wisconsin won.
I don't know what they do next. They're not going to be good next year. I mean, they lose everybody except for Ben Gold and
Chase Ross will be pretty good. They got Zay Lower. They got some good. They have decent young pieces. They won't be horrendous, but this also goes back to the rumors that are out there about Shaka not wanting to portal. And if that is true and he does not portal, Marquette's in trouble next year. Marquette's probably not a top half Big East team next year if they don't portal. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And honestly, they have no reason not to. They don't have a damn football team. So all of their money and resources can go to men's basketball. And the fact that you won't use the portal
send it to the Bucks.
is nuts. We'll touch on some games tomorrow, and then we're going to get out of here.
Got Arizona Akron. That just wasn't a game.
Oh, yeah. That's why I didn't even.
Arizona Akron won final. Arizona basically won by 30. So 28.
I assume they're going to play Oregon, who looks like they're just dominating. But I mean, I think that's going to be a good game.
Yes, it will. A vintage Big 12, Big 10 battle.
Yeah.
Arizona versus Oregon.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to the Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, Pac-12 after dark.
Bill Walton, RIP. So
Yeah.
Also, shout out Nate Biddle, the reincarnation of Bill Walton, as we just said that.
Also, shout out George Foreman. All right,
That's a solid screen.
All right, George Foreman. George, you made a hell of a grill.
All right.
Hell of a-
It was a damn good grill.
Damn good.
What you say your favorite food was?
Oh man, dude, just grilling brats on that thing, dude.
Oh, you threw brats on that thing?
You can grill anything on that thing.
I was a big fan of his grilled cheeses.
That's a goddamn George Foreman, dude. You can grill anything.
Kurt,
on that
what was your favorite George Foreman food?
grilled cheese.
Okay.
thing.
Miller?
That's a good one.
You gotta go quesadilla.
Quesadilla. Good. I can imagine a flipping chicken quesadilla
Yeah.
on the George Foreman would be pretty
It
good.
just seems like a lot of juices flowing down and
A lot of juices flowing. Juicy brats.
juicy. Shout out
Yeah.
Bucks.
I can't. Get to the
maybe-
cleanup on those brats.
Shout out Huffs.
Maybe Hoffs will get a sponsor.
Yeah.
All right, let's run through these games real quick so we can wrap up. McNeese. Let's each give a prediction on the games tomorrow. We
Sure.
don't need to really say much. Just give your prediction.
That's
McNeese, Purdue. I'll lead. I go Purdue.
I'm gonna ride with my pick with McNeese going to the Sweet 16.
Kurt
I'm gonna go Purdue. Braden Smith is just too much.
Miller.
Yeah, Purdue. Big Ten.
Arkansas St. John's. We got Cal versus Rick Pitino.
Honestly-
For those of you who don't know, they hate each other.
Honestly, the game of the tournament for me, I think this is just gonna be awesome. Just the coaching battle. St. John's.
I actually got Cal. I don't like that I got Cal because I like St. John's. I like Rick Pitino more than I like John Calipari, but I kind of feel like Cal pulls one out of his
If
ass
they just
tomorrow.
shoot over 30% for three, they're gonna win.
Yeah, I got Arkansas.
If Boogie Flan plays as much as he did the other night, which obviously he'll play more, but he played really well.
I don't know, man. They
But
should have
I'm-
lost. Hunter Dickinson just
Hunter Dickinson deciding his college basketball career was over was quite lost.
Intentional turnover.
That might have been the worst pass I've ever seen in an NCAA tournament game.
I'll go St. John's.
Who you going?
yeah, St. John's.
I'm going Arkansas. We got Michigan A&M. That's going to be a really, really good game
Yeah.
too. A&M will have the physicality to handle Michigan's 7-footers. I like A&M.
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna go A&M here.
A&M's pressure will have a way with their Michigan's turnover rate. So
I'm a Big Ten guy. I mean, I thought they were gonna lose to Yale.
So you go Michigan?
Yeah.
We have the legend of Drake versus Texas Tech. Before you give your picks quick, I will say Drake might lose their head coach to either West Virginia or Iowa within
It sounds like Iowa.
the next couple days that they lose. So if they lose, I should say. So keep an eye out for that. But I got Tech. I think Tech rebounds from a sloppy game against UNC Wilmington.
Drake catches another L. Shout out Kendrick, Texas Tech.
Kurt?
I think
He doesn't respond to that.
no.
Kurt ain't here.
I did it. I
No
did
need
it
to
for
respond.
Kurt.
Kurt ain't here.
Kurt ain't here. Log on the haters.
I did
Log
it
on
for
the
Kurt. I did it for Kurt.
So I think Drake covers the +6.5. I don't think they win. But Bennett Sturts could give a little bit of a run there for the Bulldogs, but I think Tech is too much.
I picked Drake in my bracket, so I'm riding with the D2.
Road to D2, baby.
Here is my little surprise that I'm gonna have for tomorrow.
Creighton.
Creighton Auburn. I got Creighton. I think Auburn is just I don't know what happened after they won the SEC championship, but they keep playing with their food, man. Like they do. They're uninspiring and
Got a 35-year-old on the team, man.
yeah. I got Creighton.
All right. Previous pods I've said Auburn and Duke are gonna be one of those teams are gonna fall. There's gotta be one seed that falls. Creighton looked good against Louisville.
Going Creighton?
Give me Auburn.
Give me Auburn.
All right. I'm gonna take Auburn, but again, I think Creighton covers that.
I think
spread.
Creighton gets
That's
them
9.5.
I think
9.5 is a lot.
9.5's a lot. I think Creighton gives them a scare.
Kalkbrenner is going to be able to sit down.
Yeah, he'll be able to handle Chennai Brown.
It's going to come down to the guard play, and if Ashworth is on fire, they'll be.
My other prediction for that game is Chad Baker Mazar does something absolutely stupid. So
I mean, I thought the ACC was ass, and I think the Big East is ass. So
Auburn.
Louisville was bad. ACC is bad, and they kicked the shit out of them. But I think Big ACC, they're both bad. That whole conference, Auburn's going to win. I mean, Creighton might cover, but
To me, this next game is the game of the day tomorrow. Two teams that absolutely dog walk their opponents. We got Gonzaga, Houston.
No, skipping.
What did I miss?
BYU, Wisconsin next.
Oh, that's right. It's up. I forget.
Go ahead.
All right.
We'll hold off BYU.
Yeah, we'll hold up BYU, Wisconsin. We'll do that last. I got Gonzaga, Houston. All right. I'm sorry. Gonzaga Houston is the next game. I really want to pick Gonzaga, but fuck it, Gonzaga.
Houston's defense is just so fucking good.
It is.
That's my pick. It's Houston. Between them and Tennessee is they're defensive masterclasses, and it's just so fun to watch. And I think Gonzaga surprised me. I had Georgia. That was such a stupid pick, but
That's the only one who took Gonzaga.
The money line.
I
had them to cover. But
I had them to cover as well.
yeah, I had them winning that game. But
in
dude, it's just Houston. I think Houston's defense is just gonna be way too much.
yeah. Houston. I think Houston wins, but I had a flip flop in the bracket where I thought that was the one seed to go down was Houston, just because I hated that matchup and the way Gonzaga's playing right now. Gonzaga's playing their best ball they played all season long. So I mean, in March it's no better time to play better ball. So it's gonna be a good game, but I think Houston squeaks one.
Really?
Houston wins. LJ Crier's gonna. He's gonna be. They're too good.
Yeah.
The next game is UCLA versus Tennessee. UCLA as in UCLA. And as well as UCLA played, it's Tennessee.
You guys know my
Yeah.
pick. So
The good old Rocky Top.
yeah, I
Tennessee.
gotta ride with my second team.
Tennessee's my Final Four.
Tennessee's my Final Four. I love Zakai Ziegler. I love Lanier. Tennessee,
All right, and we're going to end on BYU Wisconsin here.
which is not the last game.
It's not the last game of the day. It's the third last game of the day.
I haven't seen what's the spread on it.
Ooh, I actually didn't.
I didn't
look
Got
at
it right now.
Oh,
1.5 is the Badgers' favorite. 1.5.
That's
Over under set at 154. There could be a lot of points in this game.
That's probably over.
I like the over.
I will say this. I actually had not watched BYU this year until the VCU game. I've just seen a lot of finals. And for that reason, it made me very nervous, and I didn't like the matchup. And then I watched them play VCU. And even though they dismantled VCU, they killed them on the glass. And VCU didn't start anybody over 6'8" or really play anybody over 6'8". BYU was feasting on second chance opportunities and at the rim, and I do not think they will be able to do that tomorrow. But that doesn't mean I don't think they can't win. I like the matchup a lot more than I did when I saw it on Selection Sunday. I think John Tonji gets going. BYU's not a great defensive team. And with us not shooting great against Montana, I think Wisconsin has a 14-15 three-pointer game, and I think Wisconsin does pull it out.
Yeah, I think Tonje gets going here. And per as long as like Blackwell and Crowell and all those supporting cast guys play like they did against Montana too, that I just don't think BYU is going to be able to handle us. I'm a little afraid of the matchup because I feel like BYU is very Wisconsin-like.
I agree.
But I'm a Badger fan. I'm going to ride with Badgers against Wisconsin.
Kurt?
Yeah, I feel like we haven't touched on this a lot lately, but I feel like it could be a Klesmit game.
Yeah, Max is due.
If he scores-
Max is very
If he
due.
scores 10,
If he's
Yeah, Klesmit is due. He hasn't had his blow-up games like he had last year, but he's also battling injury and stuff. But I feel like his defense.
Yeah, I said that on
It's
the pod on Thursday. I said it on the pod. We said it.
the other night.
Yeah, he was chasing Money Williams around all afternoon
Yeah.
on Thursday.
I think
So-
his defense will come in handy
Darling of
against
the tournament?
Huh?
The darling of the tournament?
Yeah, the darling of the tournament, Money Williams.
I think his defense will come up big against Richie Saunders, who's just saw the stat on ESPN.
Shout out Tater Tots.
That's a fun
Averaging
Okay.
18.7 over the last 10. I feel like Klesmit will have to do his best to slow him down, of course. But otherwise, I think Badgers win by 5.
No,
I think we win, but I think Klesmit has to score over 7. If he doesn't, if he scores 0 points again, they're not going to win. But I don't think
He won't.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah.
But you need someone off the bench to do something.
I mean,
If
Gilmore
you get any
and
bench,
Xavier
you're
Amos,
not
man.
going to win.
Xavier Amos and Gilly
Whether-
off the bench last game were very
Yeah,
good.
Gilly needs. or if Janicki can hit 2 threes randomly. I don't think he played much last game, but
Hey, he didn't look
He
good
didn't
when he
need
was
to.
in there either. But
Kamari McKee, I'll say
Yeah,
he has
Kamari's-
not played well lately. He's not shot well lately. He needs to hit a corner 3 or 2 in this game.
I agree with the bench sentiment, and also I don't have any reason to think that someone off that bench can't
No.
make a play. They've done it all year. I got no reason to think they can't do it tomorrow too. With that being said, Kurt, where can they find you?
Twitter at Beaker52, and the same thing all over the place.
Josh,
At Robo39 at Tavern Takes.
you shout out the old tavern takes. You don't got those handles on today.
Hmm.
Miller, where can they find you?
J Miller _12.
All right. Thanks for listening.
On Wisconsin.
Deuces.